Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Week 6 recap, the Week 7 preview. It is I, your commissioner, and just overall last place basement dweller. It's not been a good last 4 weeks, folks. Welcome. Let's get on into it. All right. So this year of fantasy, I would say, has been slightly abnormal. And by that, I mean, I actually had optimism at the beginning, and it has crumbled away. So because it's not been abnormal, it's been very much the same as it always is. I lost badly. But many people lost badly. Some people won badly. I don't know that I ever have recalled a week of fantasy football that had such a large discrepancy between the highest scoring team and the lowest scoring team. Spoiler alert, Greg, who has not made it private news that he beat me, scored 170 points, which is a lot. That's a lot. And then Jason, our lowest scoring team, scored 56, which is not a lot. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a score that low. I'd be curious to see. If someone has time, go through our old league records and see if anyone has ever scored under 56, because that was impressive. Okay, let's get on into it. I played against Greg, and I was projected to lose 116 to 108. I would have been happy with that. Actually, I would not have been happy because I still would have lost, and it would have been 4 in a row. I've lost 4 in a row. Started 2-0, now I'm 2-4. Losing 170 to 90, there comes a certain point. For me, it was around 139 when I realized, oh, I should probably stop checking the app because there's really no point. And yeah, it just kept getting worse as all the games progressed. My team, coming 18 under your projection is bad enough, but having a team go 67 over the projection is a little demoralizing. It's like, we got the point. Congratulations, Greg. Very happy for you. I know that you drafted Rico Dowdle with knowing that he was going to go off and score 36 points this week. And I know that you were knowing that Bijan, you named your team after him, so I'll credit you that one. You at least named your team after the right person, unlike Steven with Drake May, who I think has maybe started him one time this year. But more on that later. Anyways, 170, what are you going to do? I was upset because I'd let somebody at work talk me out of starting Jackson Dart. And so Sunday morning around 9 o'clock, I would have been winning 23-0, and it would have been great. It would have felt really nice. But I didn't, and I would have lost by 70 points instead of 80. So no big deal. All right, next up we had Gone Fishing. So Greg is 3-3. I am 2-4. Next up, we had Matt taking on the Queen. Matt had started out 4-0. Goes up against the Queen in both teams. I wish I'd played you guys because 70 to 83. Now that 13 points was our prop bet winner. Gonna get slightly ahead of myself. Congratulations to Hannah. Mike and Hannah are back-to-back winners. So after investing $100 into this league, you've already gotten $20 of that back. So congrats for that. Yeah, wish I played both of you guys because I would have won. -1 for defense. I know those days, Matt. It's not great. The only saving grace, Matt, is that looking at your bench, I don't think you could have won. Any combination of anything from your bench was a bunch of 0s and 1s, and your only high-scoring person scored 0.2 higher than your quarterback. So quarterback for quarterback, no change there. So congrats to Hannah. She has moved up to 3-3. Matt is down to 4-2. Next up, Brandon taking on Sean. Now, Sean, where was this performance 2 weeks ago? I ask ye. Projected 113. If you had played me, you would have scored 125. But you played Brandon, and Brandon, had a high projection, 123, and he exceeded it. 138 to Sean's 69. Another doubling of the score. Wild. I don't know. Sean, did people get hurt for you? I'm looking at your team. I'm not seeing anyone got hurt. I'm just seeing the fact that your tight end, your flex player, your defense, and your kicker got you a combined 6.5 points. And I'm no mathematician or athlete or scholar, but I know that that's not how you win because Brandon's kicker outscored those 4 people. Anyways, I know it stings. And I'm slightly sad for you. Brandon moves up to 3-3. Sean moves down to 3-3. Meeting in the middle there, boys. All right, next up we had Michael taking on Dan. Dan, where was this performance last week? I think everyone decides to have their best scoring performance against me and then nothing for the rest of the year. That's my hypothesis. It's been true for the last 4 weeks. Michael made a lot of really terrible choices with his starters. More points, I think, on his bench than on his starters, but Dan just has nobody. 3 bye-week people, bunch of people hurt, bunch of people out, IR, 94 to 71. 94 to 71. Could have beat you, Dan. Would have lost to you, Michael. Would have been really close. I could have got you the $10 if you had played me, because that would have been a 4-point margin of victory. Why am I even mentioning that? All right, next up, we got Mike, then took on Steven. Now, Steven, aren't you glad you joined our league? I know you started out pretty rough, but you've won 2 in a row now. You're beating our defending league champ. You beat Mike 97 to 76. Mike, I wish I had played you this week. And that's with getting 0 from your tight end. You got to pay attention to that, Steven. You had, I don't know if you have another tight end on your bench, but you're leaving points on the table there, buddy. Drake May on your bench, 28 points. Again, don't name your team after him if you're not going to start him. Start him next week so you can lose, okay? All right, congrats to Steven, who is now 3-3. Mike has fallen to 3-3. And then Carlos started the team, guys. This is just a great story of perseverance. Also, a great story of how the same record can have a very different mental headspace. I started 2-0. He started 0-2. I've lost 4 in a row. And Carlos has won 2 in a row. So we're both 2-4. But Carlos is way happier than I am because we're trending like this. No. Told you I wasn't a mathematician or a statistician. So yeah, Carlos was taken on, 3rd highest scoring team. So you literally could have played anybody else, but you got to at least play Jason. 122 to 56, a tripling of a score. How about that? Pretty wild. And Jason, looking at your team, I don't even know what happened necessarily. I know Puka Nakua got hurt, but everyone else, like I'm looking at the numbers, like 0.7 obviously isn't great. 3.8 isn't great. 4.2 isn't great. 4 is not great. I feel like all the numbers that you have should still add up to more than 56 points though. Again, not a mathematician. But yeah, that's pretty wild. So congrats to Carlos. You're now 2-4. Jason, after starting 3-0, has lost 3 in a row. So I think we're in a pretty similar headspace right now where we hate fantasy football again. So you're 3-3. That is our rankings. Now, on the side, I told you, probably every 3 weeks I'll do this. It makes, just because it's week 6 and I've done it twice, and that's been every 3 weeks, I've been keeping track of what our alternative record would be if we were playing against the league average. And it's pretty interesting. It's not groundbreaking. I think right now our league is pretty much where it would be. I'm going to read through the rankings, and then you can hear what it would actually be. So right now, it would be Michael would be 8-4, Matt would be 7-5, Greg would be 7-5, Mike would be 6-6, Sean would be 6-6, Brandon would be 6-6, Hannah, Dan, and Steven would be 5-7. Jason and I would be 4-8, and then Carlos would be 3-9. The actuals are 4-2, 4-2 for Matt and Michael. Greg, Mike, Sean, Brandon, Hannah, Dan, Steven, and Jason are all 3-3. That's insane. 8 teams are 3-3. And then Carlos and I are both 2-4. So you have a bit more of a variance with the records. What it would actually shake down to for our 6 playoff spots. The number 1 seed wouldn't have changed. It would be Michael as the 1 seed. Number 2 seed right now would actually be Matt. Under the proposed change, it would be Greg. Greg would have a better point total and would have ultimately a better record. 3rd seed actually right now is Greg, and Matt would be the different 3 seed. Mike is still the 4 seed. Brandon's still the 5 seed. And then currently Hannah would be the 6 seed with a 3-3 record. She has scored more points than Sean. But oddly enough, Sean in the proposed change would be the 6 seed, who would also be he would be 6-6, would have one win more than Hannah would win, even though Hannah has scored more points on the season. Just the way that it works of playing against the average. So anyways, just an interesting thing. I'll continue to keep you guys posted on it because I find it interesting. And I don't know if we'll ever actually do it, but again, that was interesting. Okay, let's look at our matchups real quick, and then we'll get into what our Week 7 prop bet is. Week 7 matchup, we've got Jeff. Jeff taking on Brandon. That's my name. Jeff taking on Brandon. Oh, come on, Brandon. Projected to lose 123 to 108. Sean is taking on Matt. Both teams are just slumping right now, but Sean is projected 113 to Matt's 98. Dan taking on Greg. 105 for Dan, 116 projection for Greg. We've heard that lie before. Jason taking on Michael. 99 for Jason, 116 for Michael. Steven taking on Carlos, 96 to Carlos's 77. I think you probably have some players on bench or a bye week. And then, a little husband-wife combo here. We got Hannah taking on Mike, 93 for Hannah, 114 to Mike. That's our projections. Okay, let's get into our prop bet. Spoiler alert. This isn't even a spoiler alert. This is behind the scenes. I already recorded a video. I got 11 minutes in, and then I started reading the prop bet for the wrong week. And I knew Greg was going to be like, you said it was that one, but it's this one. You changed it. So, or should I say Greg would have said that. Inside joke. So, instead of me rating the wrong prop bet and flipping it week by week, I'm going to stick with what I have on my little list here. The Week 7 prop bet is called Just Throw It in That Direction. And this goes with the starting wide receiver with the most, I have written down, let me change it real quick, otherwise Greg's going to call me out. Highest scoring wide receiver. That's what it is. It comes down to that. Tiebreaker will be the most receptions. Or should it be yards? Most yards. Tiebreaker for, no, most, okay. It's the highest scoring starting wide receiver. Team with that person gets the prop bet. So wideouts, shine. This is your week to shine. If we have a tiebreaker between the highest scoring wide receiver, tiebreaker will be in this order: touchdowns, then yards, then receptions. And if there's a tie beyond that, we'll split the money because I don't have time to think about that and I have to pee. All right, everybody, check your lineups. I don't know if we have another stinking Europe game. They really need to stop those. I mean, they're not great. I don't like it. I don't like that. And they should do what I like, right? Okay, have a great week. Talk to you guys later. Goodbye.